I don't know why, but a North Carolina public school district allowed a Christian boy band to do an assembly in the middle of the school day and preach to students. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but they did it. It happened at the Hasty Elementary School. It's part of the Davidson County Schools about a month ago. And basically, without telling parents in advance that there was going to be a religious assembly, the school invited these people. They're the three Heath Brothers. Yes, they are three brothers who sing and dance, and they're like in sync if they were somehow worse. And those boys were invited to the school to sing 9 songs to kids with lyrics like, quote, "Let Jesus use you where you are," and "Loving God and loving people. That's what it's all about." Like, these are not random songs and they just happen to be Christian. These are Christian songs, the sort of which you might sing in church. And it's not like any of this should have been a surprise, because I went to these boys' website and check this out. First of all, this is how old they are now. That's an even scarier picture. I'm not sure why you would post for that. I don't love that. That's freaky. But anyway, short bio. That's not short. The Three Heath Brothers is a Christian band that has entertained audiences all across America. Dubbed the boy band of Christian music. Let's stop there, because that's a horrifying phrase. But again, there's no way to go to their website and think this might be good for a public school. No, they're very clear about the fact that they are a Christian group, right? So what the hell are we doing here? They also said, oh, this is interesting. This is something that stood out, and I thought this was also in their short bio. While they appeal to multi-generational audiences, their youthful performances have afforded them opportunities to make presentations in over 100 public schools where they have reached over 50,000 students. Recently, Three Heath Brothers partnered with Keys for Kids, a Christian organization that provides free online daily devotionals for kids and teens. They're confessing the crime here. We make presentations in public schools where we try to win over new converts, and then we work with a ministry that gives out free online daily devotionals like it's Duolingo or something to kids. Again, they're confessing to doing something illegal. Why would a school invite them to join in for this? And in case that didn't do it for you, maybe if you go online and search for this group, you might see that the Three Heath boys, the Three Heath Brothers, have a GoFundMe that is specifically for the spring 2025 public school fund so they could go on tour at different public schools. Like, I don't know how much easier I can make this for all the lawyers. These guys are like, hey, we're going to go break some laws. Can you all give us money so you can break some law? I'm going to highlight this comment right now. I just clicked over to a video to see what they sound like. It is exactly what you are imagining. Yes, you are correct. Whatever you think these boys sound like is what they sound like. But they're literally raising money to go to public schools so they could preach to these kids at schools. And at no point was anyone tipped off like, hey, maybe this is not allowed? Like, here's how you normally do it. If you're a smarter Christian, here's how they usually get away with this stuff. Let's say you're a Christian who gives inspirational speeches and you want to really reach those public school kids, because as we all know, they all have little devils on the inside of them. What you do is you go to the school district, or your agent goes to the school district, and you say, this guy's an inspirational speaker and he wants to teach kids in a funny way how to keep kids away from drugs. And it's a totally secular speech. And the school district says, sure. And they give him some money. And the dude comes in, gives a secular speech about why you shouldn't do drugs. And it's super cheesy. And everyone makes fun of it. And then they say, by the way, tonight, kids, I'm going to be at the church next door. And it's also a free event. And I want you to bring your parents and your friends, because if you like this assembly, maybe your parents will like it too, and your friends will, and they're all little heathens. And then if you go to the nighttime assembly off campus at a church, that's when the same speech becomes a Jesus-infused speech. And then at the end, you could try to sign people up for your, mid-level marketing scheme called church. Multi-level scheme there. But like, that's how they do it normally. These boys, the boy band, they're not doing that. They're going to the schools not to sing secular songs. They're singing like gospel music or whatever the, boy band version of gospel music is. So they are a Christian band that performed Christian songs at a secular public school. And then they literally handed out pamphlets. Look at these pamphlets. This is what they gave out to the kids. Keys for Kids devotional. Look at these boys. They're dressed like the wall. Aren't they great? No, they will haunt my nightmares. But they gave away these devotional books that if you open them up are full of like, here's a little story that's like a Bible moral story. And at the bottom, the citations are Bible verses, which should not be citations. But there you go. That's what they did at these schools. And if you go to the website for the ministry that operates all this, they even say this is totally what we are doing. Here's the website for Keys for Kids. By the way, anytime you have a nonprofit or a ministry that has 4 kids in the name, my first reaction is you're probably creepy. But look at this. Donate to help us fund this school outreach. As the 3 Heath brothers are invited into public schools, not only are they able to share their music with a message, but they're able to hand out our little booklets to any student who wants one. By the way, we've given out 15,000 of these. Again, they're announcing the crime. They're saying, we're going to send these boys to school under the guise that they're a boy band, but they're really going to talk about Jesus. And don't you want that, everybody? It's a sort of privilege that is never going to be extended to an atheist group, a Muslim group. Not that you would want to see an atheist boy band, but hypothetically, if there was one, this is not what they would do. So the Freedom from Religion Foundation I mentioned, they have now sent a letter to the school district. And this is one of the things that the FFRF pointed out here. Oh yeah, here we go. Let me show you this letter. We understand that the performance included a performance of 9 songs, such as they go over the songs and the lyrics that talk about Jesus. Parents received no notification of this assembly. We were also informed that they distributed this devotional pamphlet, which includes explicitly religious stories with Bible verses. For example, the booklet tells students not to take revenge because that's not what Jesus wants you to do, and that they must give your burden to Jesus and help him to help you respond to that person with his love. And I don't know, here's a wafer with his blood on it or something like that. One of the other things they say in this article is that they performed at an elementary school. And FFRF mentions that because, that's just egregious. Elementary students cannot legally or practically be expected to dissent and leave what appears to be a mandatory school assembly to resist their school violating their constitutional rights. And further, the school violated parents' First Amendment rights to determine which faith, if any, to teach their children to believe. The district cannot allow non-school persons to treat schools as a recruiting ground for their religious mission. Yes, that is exactly what the problem is. Not to mention, there are so many kids who are not religious. There's peer pressure, coercion to stick around and follow along with what's happening. FFRF's legal director, Patrick Elliott, also added, quote, forcing elementary students to sit through a Christian concert and handing them religious materials is a flagrant violation of the Establishment Clause. Now, as far as I know, the school district has not responded to this letter, but it is hard for me to understand how so many adults at that school could have allowed this to happen without saying anything about it. I want to know what the emails said. Did anyone say, hey, why are these boys here? This shouldn't be okay. This wasn't an accident, though. This happened because the adults in that building thought it was important to use kids as religious target practice instead of teaching them anything useful. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. What questions do we have here? That's not blood on the wafer. We covered that earlier. Sorry, you are correct. Reference, it's a callback. That's okay. Oh, gross. It was an elementary school. I think the boys performed at an elementary school and a high school in the district. But yeah, it included an elementary school. Like super gross, super coercive. I want to live in a state that isn't in the news for stupid shit every day. Where's that state? Listen, man, I live in a very blue state. And today in the news, I saw one of our state's members of Congress say that climate change is a hoax, basically. I'm paraphrasing, I forgot what exactly it was. But even in blue states, you got red idiots. So good luck with that. Some states are here more often than others, but even blue states have their problems. Thankfully, those problems can hopefully be ignored to some extent.